What am I?
You are recording.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. I will take a motion to approve the minutes of October 17, 2022.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor? Appointments, recognitions, and resignations. Consider the appointment of HR Finance Director Jake Wright as acting town manager effective November 7, 2022. The acting town manager fills in when the town manager is unavailable or unable to carry out the duties of office.
Move approval.
Second.
Good. Any discussion?
I just think ATM is a really funny thing to be called.
Well, he's a money guy.
I know. That was my first. I was like,
At the town ATM.
I wasn't going to give you the satisfaction of using the acronym.
anyway, no
Okay.
discussion.
All in favor? Any opposed? No. Appointment of Tony Smith to the Economic Development Committee.
Move appointment.
Second.
All in favor? Appointment of Troy Julian to the Sustainability Committee.
Move appointment.
Second.
All in favor?
Was that you?
Yes.
Consent agenda, department reports, highway report, treasurer's report, third quarter. Thank you letter, Hancock County SPCA, Department of Transportation, Babson Creek on-demand virtual public meeting, Community Development Corporation meeting draft minutes of July 6, 2022, Community Development Corporation meeting minutes of September 23, 2022, Economic Development Committee lists as of October 14, 2022, Economic Development Committee draft minutes of October 12, 2022, Economic Development Committee of Corporation memo to Summer Residents Association, May 18, 2022, Summer Residents Association Spring 2022 newsletter, Hancock County Commissioners Special Meeting minutes of October 18, 2022, Municipal Review Committee notice of communities return to bypassing municipal solid waste PERC instead of going to landfills effective October 24, 2022 through November 30, 2022. Some MRC members' waste will go to Juniper Ridge landfill due to the waste bypassing both the Coastal Resources Hamden facility due to its inability to process incoming waste due to suspension of operations as a result of contractual issues with key counterparties and PERC due to their having to conduct maintenance and complete testing of their stack to complete their boiler certification. Item M. The MRC held their regularly scheduled Finance Committee meeting followed by their regular quarterly meeting on October 26, 2022. MRC general update including status of the fundamental matter notice that was sent to members. Maine correspondence to the MRC Board of Directors expressing interest in working with the MRC on solid waste management. Governor Mills tours Municipal Waste Solutions facility in Hamden.
Move acceptance of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Good. Anybody want to pull anything out?
Nope, lots of interesting reading.
Okay. All in favor? Great. Thank you. Selectmen's reports.
I don't know whether this is the. I thought that we were going to hear from the school board tonight regarding their request for whatever it was they had in the paper, and my understanding is that there's more to it than they initially talked about last time when they brought last spring. The reason I bring that up isn't because I have any objection to Mount Desert Elementary School managing their building. It has to do more with the overall budget situation and the fact that a lot of our property taxes went up 30% and more, and with the fire project and the high school project looming with $23-something million, I have a grave concern that our tax burden and our spending are going to get out of hand. And so I want to make sure that we follow up with Mount Desert Elementary, and I want to make sure that we do our due diligence. And the reason I mentioned the high school project is because last year to pass the high school project, the high school budget, they literally had to go to the hallway to get enough people to vote. And nobody goes to the meetings. And the high school budget is passed very easily, and then it's handed over to the towns, which it becomes part of their local school budget, and they can't touch that. So there's challenges that are out of our purview, but they all come down to our constituents' tax bills.
I can address that, Jeff. I met with Brian Henkel on that last week, and he thought he needed an extra week or two to prepare a memo
Okay.
before the board. So it is still there, but he just did not feel ready at that particular time to come to this meeting. He wanted to make a decent presentation.
Okay,
So
well, that's
he-
great.
so
I
he
just, the
needs
last
another
email
week.
from him said he'd be here tonight.
Right.
And then I hadn't heard anything more. So I just, it's been on my mind. I'm very, my taxes, my neighbor's taxes, and I know a lot of people's taxes have gone up a lot. We all fought hard for the fire department project. I want to stay behind that, but I also think we better watch ourselves or we're going to be asking people for more again.
Yeah. And so he will be coming, it's just delayed one meeting, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks, Jeff.
Any other selectmen's reports? Okay, I have several. The Otter Creek Cemetery Association is going to be asking the town to take over the cemetery in Otter Creek. We have about between 200 and 300 plots there, and we have an all-volunteer association that has been dealing with the cemetery in perpetual care ever since its inception in, the early 1900s, and those volunteers are gone. To the point-
Members now.
Well, to the point, yeah, to the point where I have a plot plan sitting on my kitchen table because someone just left it at my
Yeah.
house. Yes. All right, so we have that coming, and Daryl's going to be looking into.
Yeah, bring it over, we can take a look
Yep.
at it. So.
There's another the issue of putting or having a rowing association donate a dock to the town to put in at Pond's End. This is a nonprofit rowing group that came to us before COVID, and then withdrew its interest at the time. I think they weren't necessarily having any luck raising money, but they seemed to feel that they could donate a dock with smaller freeboard that would allow rowers to get into their craft, actually make it easier for people to get in and out of boats there. And that's really all they're looking for. They want to come and make a presentation to the board.
You tell them when, to give me a call or send me an email when they want to come, I'll see if they get scheduled. So, yep.
All right. Solar farm. You want to talk about the solar farm? While you're here.
I think it's something we need to move forward to as a town. Unfortunately, most of the, I'll take my mask off so you can all hear me better. Unfortunately, most of the town is very wooded or has beautiful estates on it. So the proximity to have a town-owned solar farm on town property is very difficult. Both John and I have talked about this, that, possibly leasing some land, possibly at like some roofs at the Hancock County Airport, maybe using the school so as one piece. Otter Creek Pump Station was also a favorable thing, but we don't have a single site available, similar to like the Higgins pit lot that the town of Bar Harbor is, purchasing and putting their farm in. There's some possibilities out there as a stopgap. If I had someone from, the crew from Climate to Thrive next to me, they'd probably talk us out of it because we can't get all the credits. But possibly joining a soil farm similar to like Next Dam, the group that came to you at the League of Towns was also a very, very favorable one. Again, it's about a 20% off the standard rate of your Verzant bill. Jake, roughly, we've gone through this exercise with all the bills. Roughly, just off the top of your head, our monthly, it's well over 30,000, right?
Can I have 5 seconds to?
Sure.
This is the lightning round.
So, basically, to do nothing, we're just backpedaling.
Yeah.
We should do something.
Yeah, I guess what I'm really asking, Phil, is a very specific proposal came across from you.
Actually came from Derlin through the League of Towns.
Okay.
And I just shared it with the Sustainability Committee.
So that one in particular, that's the only thing I'm talking about here is the
Okay.
Yeah.
probably monthly checks of around 15,000.
So half of what I said. Thank you, Jake. So 20% of 15, it's
Yeah.
whatever you don't mind.
We'd be tied in for how many years would we be?
I think we can get out of it in as little as 120 days. You're not tied into it for any long term.
Huh?
Most
Okay.
of these solar farms, you're not tied in. You can get out at any point, especially if the town had the ability to build their own someday. Unfortunately, that's another process that I think we should. If we had other expertise in the room to remind us that there's some very valuable solar credits that would be available to the town if we move forward. So that's something we can all discuss in our task force. Which, we're all due to meet again as the climate task force. But as far as doing this right off, I'm open to any questions that you all have. I don't think there's any drawbacks. I think that the proposal you sent to us, if I remember, they were thinking to go online early January.
No. Yeah,
For the household I managed in Seal Harbor, I did a next stamp farm. They thought that would go online around June.
What I'd like to do is to get their contract and then have it vetted to see what that contract looks like. So I think it might be something that's, good reward, low risk, but when you sign contracts, you want to make sure there isn't anything in there
Absolutely.
that's going to jump you. So I think that's good. They're going to go back to the League of Towns this November 22nd when we meet in Bar Harbor. So, Phil, if you want to, you might want to come over to that if you're not going somewhere. It's going to be in Bar Harbor Council Chambers or via Zoom. It will be available via Zoom as well. And so they're going to make a follow-up presentation, and then what I want to try to do is to get a sample contract and then have that vetted and just see if there's any things jumping, and then we can bring it for discussion if there's nothing
Good.
there. So.
Sounds good.
I think that sounds
And
really
they're
good.
about 5%. It's 20% versus the next stamp is 15%. Just to be clear, there's 3-4 competitors out there. This is not the first time we've been presented with something like this. But my personal belief, until we can put up our own infrastructure, doing something like this is better than doing nothing. Especially if you can save 20%, times 12, right? It adds up pretty quick.
And there's no penalty for getting out. That's
correct.
yeah. Right. Okay, great.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Sorry if I gave
Yep.
the other
Yeah.
piece, but a lot of people feel very strongly that the town should have their own infrastructure or lease something off-site. Thank you for that.
Thanks.
Also, some concern that our climate action task force is not on the town website as an official town committee. I think Johanna included that in her email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phil, you've got the membership, and you've got all that stuff, right? You could get
Right,
that.
well, it's the John, myself, Jeff,
Yeah.
and Tony Smith, and Johanna.
Yep.
There's only 5 of us on it.
Yeah.
Well, there's the new guy,
That's
Taylor.
sustainability.
That's
Oh,
committee.
sustainability.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
The
Task
climate
force.
task
Oh, the
force.
task force. Oh.
So John, Jeff, there's
Hard to keep
Phil,
track.
and Tony, and
Johanna.
But Johanna.
Oh, he's not a resident.
So that is called the Climate Action Task Force.
No.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Tony, Bill, and Johanna, and who else?
Jeff Woods.
Oh, Jeff.
No S.
Would.
Would.
She probably knows
Sorry.
that.
I'll swallow the S next time.
Jeff just said that the guy we just appointed to the sustainability committee is not a resident. Is that right?
He lives in the COA building,
Oh,
so he
okay.
is a resident.
Oh,
So he
he
is a
put down
resident.
his address as Bar Harbor. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I think that's his mailing address.
That's fine.
Okay.
But he's a
I mean,
resident of the
I asked the same question about Shellfish Committee. I just didn't even ask tonight, but because
good
we've had
question
other.
to
I just
Yeah. No, it's good.
Okay.
Thank you, John, on again, the follow-through on the task force. We know we have a long way to go, and there's lots of things to do.
Yeah, but we're trying to keep it focused.
Correct. That was, again, we were trying to do the carbon study. We just got, the invoice did make it to your desk, correct, Sterling?
Yes, the carbon study. I think it's already been paid.
I think it is too.
Good.
Is that the Eichler?
The
Yeah.
Eichler.
You're talking about? We need to talk about that guy. I did look into that when we talked, and I didn't see it, but I might have been looking for it under the wrong name, so we can verify that tomorrow.
While we're on the subject, I just want to clarify, one of the things we talked about when we did all this last spring was that the line item under Public Works, environmental sustainability, will be where we fund things like this.
That's where they have taken
Yep.
Because we have about $34,000 in it. That part of that money would be used for the charging station that'll go hit on Main Street. That's supposed to go live when they finish the paving.
Good. Okay, any more selectmen's reports? Unfinished business. Consider authorization of the architectural firm for the Northeast Harbor Fire Station renovation project, DGC Architects of Ellsworth, to prepare a change order to the fire station project in the amount of $34,820.50 for the roofing work identified by the general contractor and reviewed and recommended by DGC Architects to replace approximately 4,870 square feet of failed roof area over sections of the town office and police station entryway described in consultant to the town Tony Smith's November 1, 2022 memo to town manager Derwin Lunt.
Move authorization.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Okay. And consider authorization of Fire Chief Mike Bender to execute the change order on behalf of the town.
Move authorization.
Second.
All in favor? And consider authorization of the use of funds in the amount of $34,820.50 from the town office building reserve account number 4050100-24570 with a current balance of $163,664.92 to pay for the work, leaving a balance of $128,844.42 in this reserve account.
Move authorization.
Second.
All in favor?
I have a question.
Oh, good.
The $34,820.50 is to be used according to A, for a change order. Is that what the cost of the work is going to be, Chief?
Yes, that's the labor, materials,
Okay.
and the change order fees.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Actually, just one more question. Is that a failure in the asphalt, or is it a failure in the structure? Is it?
No, it was the asphalt shingles that were failing.
Oh.
I believe they were put on in 2007, so they were, 17, 18 years old, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
And when they were doing the demo work on the station, they noticed that there was actually some spots where the underlayment was starting to show through the shingles, and there was a lot of granular in the gutters, meaning that they were
Make me feel better about the work.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So, all in favor? Thank you. New business. Public space of special event application, Seal Harbor Library Fair, July 29, 2023. Seal Harbor Village Green.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor? Request for installation of a street light on Stanley Lane in Northeast Harbor.
That is a request by Terry Stanley, who lives there. He says it's a very dark street in the evening, and so he would like to see it, and there is a pole that it can go on.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
I would move approval of that.
Second.
Good.
Are there other?
Remind everyone that we would pay the bill as the town, that we no longer lease the street lights from Verzon.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I'm for it personally, and any resident that wants to have a street light on a public street should come to us.
Yeah. I think we have some in reserve, don't we?
I can't confirm that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we do at the highway garage have some in reserve.
Yeah.
So I just need a poll number.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys authorize it.
Cool.
But
Oh,
there's
okay.
5 extra lights that remember that now.
Good.
They're old.
Okay.
We didn't.
All in
finish.
favor?
Yeah.
Thank you. Consideration of the authorization to solicit competitive bids in conformance with our CIP and purchasing policy for a new Ram 5500 4x4 diesel-powered 1-ton dump plow truck and associated sanding and plow equipment for the Highways Division of the Public Works Department, as described in Public Works Director Tony Smith's October 25th, 2022 memo to Town Manager Derlin Lunt Jr.
Move authorization.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Consideration of approving the rules and rental agreement and rental form for the Mount Desert Seal Harbor Fire Station Community Room.
I'll move approval.
I would second it.
Does that include, sorry, you gotta wait. Do it.
Oh, Jeff.
Does that include the recommended increase in the rate, I guess, is what maybe I'm missing.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
That, my memo was recommending that you take a look at the rate, and it's up to the board to increase that if they want to. I was just throwing that out there because of the high energy bills that we're facing now, increased electrical costs, increased heating. It was my feeling that people renting these facilities should be paying for some of that cost increase, but obviously the city wants to be able to put an increased cost in. This is the same rental agreement that you folks viewed a few months ago for the Somersville.
Right.
Community room was there.
Well, I'm just saying that the item on the new business D doesn't specifically mention the change in. I mean, maybe
the
it
recommended
just.
changes in my memo.
So yeah, I saw it.
So
yeah.
it's two separate.
Is it two separate? That's what I'm asking, I guess. Because the rules seem fine. But I think we ought to consider the other thing separately, or
I
make
think
sure that
that's.
they're.
Oh yeah, it's just not listed. So we're voting on the rules.
We're voting on the rules and rental agreement. Yeah.
So I would move that we approve the rules as stated, but also add to that Chief Bender's recommendation to raise the fee up to the $200 for 4 to 48 hours of rental.
And, and $50 for up to 4 hours.
Yes, sorry, both.
I would second that amendment.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
Yep. Update on interest rates for operating and operating reserve funds.
My apologies for missing that meeting. It just wasn't a day that I was
That's understandable.
capable.
Yeah, very understandable. I think it's all good news. I'm pretty happy with where we're at. When we started the process, I was looking at everything that was happening in the Treasury bond market, specifically seeing 4.5%, and looking at our liquid funds at 0.3 and 0.5%, thinking that there's got to be a subset of those funds that could be invested at that higher rate, and then tiered as maturities are necessary to meet cash flow needs. And then, so we sent out requests for those, but left it pretty open-ended, saying, hey, if you have other things we might be interested in, please, feel free to send those. And we were surprised to see some really aggressive liquid offers from people that our incumbent institutions ended up matching and making it where we can receive what I think are extremely impressive liquid rates without incurring any additional administrative costs in changing anything, and retaining complete liquidity with operating and operating reserve funds, which is what I would say would be the highest priority of those funds. And so I think in general, depending on average cash balance, this has hundreds of thousands of dollars in implications for additional interest that we can expect.
Excellent.
Cool.
You're hired.
The only other piece of that is that so Bar Harbor Bank Trust, where we hold all of our general operating funds, and that we have our insured cash sweep through, matched the 3.25% that we received on our money market. And there was also an offer that the investment committee was made aware of, that if we moved all of the funds in the money market of the First National account, they would bump that up to 3.3% for the insured cash sweep. And that's something that I wanted to make you guys aware of. The investment committee's position is that the difference was not enough to burn the bridge. And also, the other kind of consideration there is that the money market account serves the purpose of meeting the liquidity requirements specified in the investment policy that was adopted by the town. And that policy was adopted prior to ICS being a thing, and so it's actually not specifically specified as an acceptable asset class to hold those. There's a threshold of $500,000 that's required. I think that probably could have been addressed on the Bar Harbor side, but essentially no one in the investment committee wanted to entertain that offer. The difference in interest is immaterial to ruin the relationship with the First.
That seems reasonable to me.
And so this is an update. If you guys are happy with this, we're kind of going to put it to bed at least until we do want to revisit in the next fiscal year when substantial tax collection has been met to look at a tiered maturity approach when we've got a little bit more time. Because right now we were scrambling to capitalize on the current rate environment, but now assuming that rates aren't going to drop, dramatically in the next several months, I think we'll be able to put together a really solid proposal and tiered maturity approach to squeeze out a little bit more interest in the next fiscal year.
Okay.
Thanks, Jake.
Yeah, great.
Good. So I will take a motion to acknowledge.
I would move acknowledgement and appreciation for the memo letting us know about interest rates for operating and operating reserve funds.
Seconded.
Good. All in favor?
No, we don't need to.
I'm going to abstain just to abstain.
Yeah. Okay. Consider budgetary carry-forwards of unexpended amounts from fiscal year 2022 to the fiscal year 2023 as described in memo from Finance Director Jake Wright.
I move approval of the carry forwards.
I would second that.
Good. Any further discussion? All in favor? Very good. Thank you. Other business. I do actually have some other business. I thought I was done, but so we were talking at some point about building a sand building at the highway garage to cover the sand and salt. Are we still planning on doing that?
Not at this point, but we should definitely do something to get that under cover.
Yeah,
for sure. It helps the amount of salt that goes in the pile, because of the rain and stuff. We have to put it on each time. I would have to get with Tony to see where he is at or where he left that at.
Yeah.
Nothing to my knowledge at this point.
Okay.
So,
John, can I ask one other thing too? I should have probably asked about. I know Tony's not here, but has there been any updates on the Versant bill and the?
He's supposed to write a report on that when he has more information.
Okay.
To me, but I have not received that report as yet. So
Okay.
I would assume we're still at status quo.
Because that was another just fiscal
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, because they had not given any receipts or anything to indicate why they.
Well, I know, and I know he was going to. I appreciate that he was on it, but I just wondered if there was a status update, and apparently not.
Not one yet.
Okay, thank you.
And we haven't paid it, so that's fine.
Well, that's
nor will we until we get justification if that's
okay.
they're entitled to that money. So.
Any other business? Okay, treasurer's warrants. Approve and sign treasurer's warrants as shown. Town invoice AP 2329 in the amount of $779,816.29.
Move approval and signature.
Second.
All in favor? State fees and payroll benefits AP 2326, AP 2327, AP 2328, PR 2309, and PR 2310 in the amount of $229,618.10.
Move approval and signature.
Second.
All in favor?
One abstention, please.
Abstention. Acknowledge treasurer's town-related disbursements and school board AP payroll warrants, school invoices AP number 5, and school payroll PR 9, and voided disbursement V2302 for a net total of $202,947.95.
Move acknowledgement.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
I think I was seconded by everybody.
It's pretty good. 15 minutes, it's pretty good.